Hi, I'm Donna Russo. I'm a certified life coach through the Life Purpose Institute in San Diego, as well as a licensed therapist of over 30 years, specializing in marriage and family therapy. One of the things I'm sure that you come across in YouTube are lots of programs on what you should do if your marriage is in trouble or your long-term relationship. You will see some coaches and therapists that are saying you absolutely want to have no contact with your partner. Others are saying, oh no, you need to be in pretty much constant contact. So what is it? How does all of this work? I practice something called a structured separation, which really helps eliminate a lot of the confusion that surrounds being apart from your partner or your spouse, especially if you have children. And I think if you have children, a structured separation is absolutely vital for you both, you and your partner, to be able to say, you know, we're doing what's best for the children. And if we do decide to formally divorce, then we can look back and say that we did everything that we could for our family. So I want to talk with you first about what a structured separation is. A structured separation should really be performed or written up between you and a therapist or life coach who is experienced in doing structured separation and has been trained in that. Structured separation includes such topics as physical boundaries. Who's going to be where and when? Do you move out? Are you both staying in the home? You know, what kind of physical arrangement is possible given your financial limitations and given the different emotional aspects of your relationship? In addition to physical, there's also what we call emotional boundaries. Are you going to be talking with your spouse on a regular basis each day? Are you going to have a check-in time? Or is it so toxic you really want to avoid your spouse at all costs? And sometimes one is on one floor of the home and one is on another floor. Or they move out and they really have very little contact. They're walking on eggshells. They're not sure when to contact each other. So it's really important that there's very clear communication boundaries. And a structured separation will help you put them in place. For example, do you contact each other for a check-in once a week, or do you only contact each other in case of an emergency? All of these kinds of issues need to be negotiated well between you and your partner or your spouse, along with the help of your certified life coach and or your therapist. One of the other things is what kind of contact are you going to have? Are you going to try to have a date once a week? Or maybe family time once a week? Are you going to try to sit down and check in with each other for an hour? Are you only going to do that with your therapist? If you are going to do it, what kind of topics are off limits? Or what kind of topics do you want to be discussing and getting clarity on? That's another really very important. Or you'll get sideways with one another. You'll turn each other more off with that kind of unclear boundaries around that. And if you're used to really being the emotional support for each other and now you're walking on eggshells, your relationship might have just really centered on your spouse and children and you don't have anyone else to talk with. That's where having a therapist or a life coach can be just so important, that you be very clear about where your support is coming from. And for a lot of folks, it's really developing that support outside of the relationship, and that's critical as well, getting those extra resources that you need. It's been very hard, especially during the pandemic, as people have become more isolated, and what resources were once in place may not be. The other thing is you may all be working from home, and you know, that also makes it very awkward. So this is especially a really challenging time, I think, for couples, and where structured separation can be really important. Of course, there's the financial arrangements as well. You know, who's paying for what when? If you both have engaged an attorney or just one of you, you know, what is the attorney telling you about what is the best financial arrangement for you at this time? Or if you don't want to go the route of an attorney yet and you want to just talk with your spouse about that and handle things as you've been handling them until such time there's a more formal, perhaps, separation put in place or the finalized divorce. Again, we talked about living, you know, where and how are you going to be living? And then a really important one is the children, of course. So what kind of co-parenting plan are you going to have? Are you going to pretty much be with the children in the way that you have been? Are you going to alternate the days when one of you is more responsible than the other? If one of you wants to go out, the other one, you have clear days so that neither of you is feeling like you're being taken advantage of. So these are just some of the kinds of points or bullet points that you really want to cover in a structured separation. The structured separation really kind of takes the guesswork out of it. You're not feeling hurt if your spouse hasn't contacted you because you have very clear guidelines in place about how and when that's going to occur. You feel less like you're walking on eggshells. You have hopefully gotten a therapist or life coach alongside you to help you just iron out those wrinkles that happen, especially when one partner is feeling hurt or not heard by the other partner. It can be just a really confusing time. A lot of times it's one of the spouses that wants out and the other still wants to maintain the marriage and really oftentimes feels pretty desperate. So again, I think having very clear cut physical, financial, emotional, and just communication contact and the co-parenting contact is absolutely vital. If you have any questions about that, you can feel free to contact me on my website at www.createclarityandchange.com or www.askdonnanow.com. I offer a free half-an-hour consultation via phone for you. So I hope you'll go online and find me and contact me for a free consultation call. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Again, thank you so much.